So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and a warm welcome to Kaliningrad and to this official Matchday -1 press conference with Team England. Before I introduce the top table, can I please, as usual, remind you to turn off your mobile phones or switch to silent. Please do wait for the microphone and state your name, organisation and language you intend to speak in. We do have remote interpretation, as you can see, Channel 1 English, Channel 2 Russian, Channel 3 French and Channel 4 Dutch. When you get the microphones, they are on, please believe me, they are on, so just speak into them and then we'll start taking your questions. I will ask the photographers to kindly leave after about 5 minutes or so that we can carry on with the press conference. So, delighted to welcome to the top table on the far right, Eric Dyer. In the middle, team coach Gareth Southgate, and to my right, press officer Andy Walker. We'll move straight to any questions, please. Lady third row, please.
Natalie Perks, BBC News. Question in English. Gareth, you used the word harmony a lot after the game on Sunday. How do you ensure the happiness of players who haven't yet touched a ball in the tournament versus the momentum that you're clearly building here?
Well, I think you're always trying to keep the group together. It's critical, especially when you're in a tournament situation. But with any team, the character of the team and the way that they gel and the competition for places is crucial. So that's always in my thoughts when we're together. Even more so when we're away for a long period of time. Momentum is an interesting one because I think momentum shifts during the space of 90-minute matches. It's not just about where you are within the tournament. So I guess positivity is probably a better phrase in terms of what we want to continue with, and I think performance as well. We're consistently performing well last 8-9 matches, and we're hitting a level of performance that is really important when we go into latter stages of the competition.
Thank you very much. Gentlemen there, please just wait for translation, please. Okay, go ahead, thank you.
Le coach pour RMC
A question in French for the coach for RMC Sport. In view of the results of the so-called great nations, Germany is about to be eliminated. You've seen your statistics, you've seen the Belgium statistics. Do you have the feeling that slowly, little by little, you are going from an outsider to a favourite team as you're getting closer to the last 16 and maybe further?
Well, we're really pleased with the way that we've played, but we are still a team that have a lot of improvement. We're going to face tougher challenges in the next few games, and we're at the moment can't consider ourselves a top team until we start to beat some of those top teams. So in the last few months, we've had good performances against Brazil and Germany and Italy. Our last defeat was away in France, which was a game we learned a lot from. So we're really pleased that we had those matches. I think we've needed to test ourselves against the very best. But we still are a team that have a hunger to keep improving. And we're playing with a lot of confidence, which is important.
Thank you very much. Go to goal.com there, please. Just wait for the translation. Go ahead, please.
Ronan Murphy, goal.com in English. This question is for the player. It kind of follows on from Garrett's question. Frank Lampard has claimed that this England side can win the World Cup. Is that something that the players have discussed in the camp, or is it something you're considering?
No, it's nothing that we have discussed. We're focusing purely, I think, on one game at a time. I think that's the best way to look at football always in a tournament or at any level, is to just focus on one game at a time, because if you look too far ahead, you can get in trouble in football. So I think the best thing for us to do is just focus one game at a time, and I think that's what we're doing.
Thank you. At the front here, please. It's coming. Just 1 second. Okay.
Andy Dunn from the Daily Mirror in English. Eric, having been quite a key member of Gareth's setup in the side. How disappointing was it not to be in the starting line of both the first games? And can you give us an insight into the mindset of the players who haven't played yet, and it's been such a long time in camp?
Yeah, obviously, not just myself. Every player, the 12 players that aren't playing, it's only natural that we want to play. That's normal. That's one of the reasons why we get to where we do, is because we're competitive. We have a competitive nature like that, and we want to play in every game. Obviously, that's not possible in football, and I think we've all been around long enough to know that that's the case, and we have to respect that. We have to keep pushing. I think that's what the players have been doing. I think that's been the mentality of the players that haven't been in the starting 11, is to keep working as hard as possible, keep training to the best of our ability to try and force ourselves an opportunity to play.
Okay, if we could just take a pause and maybe ask our photographers if they wouldn't mind just leaving so we can carry on, and then we'll carry on with the gentleman there. Thank you.
Korea scored, disallowed with VAR. Korea had scored, disallowed with the VAR.
Thank you very much for your patience. Carry on, please.
Добрый день, Михаил Яновский, газета
Михаил Яновский,
Мы узнали, что
Комсомольская правда from Kaliningrad. We have found out that David Beckham is arriving in Kaliningrad. How much will he help you? Will he communicate with you? Will he get in touch with you? And how much important is that for you?
Well, I had a message from David before the tournament and after our first or second game. So it's nice that we're getting support from a lot of our former players, whether that's directly or through the media. But of course, this tournament is about our current players and their opportunity to create history, really. So nice that he's coming to support, and maybe we'll see him. But obviously, our attention is on this generation of players now.
Thank you very much. This question?
Rob Mendy, Telegraph, English, hopefully. Would you like to see more England fans coming over for the last 16 game? Obviously, Colombia have 30,000 at one of their games and so on. So we've had 2,000, maybe 3,000 at this one. Would you like a message back home to say more fans should come? Would that help the players, I presume?
I think first and foremost, the supporters that have been here have been brilliant. Our support within the ground has been outstanding. They've all conducted themselves really well, been good ambassadors for the country. So I think more supporters are coming tomorrow. It's been a difficult process. I think there were a lot of fears which hopefully I think have been proved unfounded about what people would experience here. So we've been really warmly received as a team. Of course, it'd be great if more people are excited enough to come and watch us. That's it feels that that's what's being generated at home. Yeah, we certainly feel the support that we're getting from back home, even if we haven't had quite as many supporters in the stadium.
Please keep the microphone, otherwise you can't have translation. No. So the question was whether Eric felt more fans would help him.
I don't know if it'll help me. I just it's great when when the stadiums are full. Even better if they're full of English fans. Obviously I think the better this team does, and the further we can go, the more fans will hopefully make the journey out here to support us. But as the manager said, we nowadays with technology, we've seen how the supporters have been. The country back home has been supporting us, and it's been fantastic, and we really appreciate that, and we've really enjoyed watching many different videos that has shown that, and you know, hopefully we can continue to do really well, and the fans can continue to support us in the same way.
Thank you. Just for the translation, please. Thank you.
Matt Lawton, Daily Mail in English. Gareth, in the past you've described Eric as someone who's very good tactically, understands the game, and you've even described him as a sounding board. Can he have a little bit of hope that as the tournament progresses and you face better teams, that he might become a bigger part of your plans?
He's always a big part of our plans. It's one of the reasons I've asked him to be here today, because he's a really intelligent player, tactically very, very aware. He is a crucial part of our squad, has been right the way through this journey, and his mentality when we talked about not starting the games was all about, you know, playing his way into the tournament, supporting the team at the right times, recognising that he's going to have a part to play. So there's a real maturity about him as a professional, and a real, you know, I always enjoy my discussions with him on the matches that we play and the tactical observations. He has great insight into the difficulties we might face playing against certain systems. So even when he hasn't been in the starting team, he's had invaluable contribution in our meetings and training sessions to the way that we've prepared for these games. And you know, obviously tomorrow he's back in the team, and you know, I know the level of performance he always gives us, and he's, as I say, very, very important to us.
Thank you. We'll go to a few questions at the back, please. Just wait for the translation, Paul. Okay, Gareth.
Paul Hayward, Daily Telegraph in English. Gareth, as you start to look for areas to improve on, some might argue that, you know, defensive solidity is one area where you can keep working away at. But so as you start facing better teams, does your thinking now shift towards the more defensive side of your game, or do you just carry on with the kind of, you know, exciting football you've been playing so far?
Well, I don't think the style of how we play should change. I think levels of concentration have to be spot on. The higher the quality of the opposition, then you've got to make better decisions in those areas. You're going to face different sorts of tests and different challenges. But the way that we want to play won't change. It just means that when we're attacking, we've got to make sure that we're more alert to counter-attacks, and when we're defending, we've got to make sure that our individual and collective defending is at a really high level. So the good thing is that within training, you know, the guys face tough opposition every day, and that sharpens what they're doing. But of course, when you have matches like we've had, where we're dominating the game so much, then you know, it can lead to a lapse of concentration, and we got caught a bit at the end of the game with Panama, and we won't have that opportunity to recover from those things against the very top teams. So that is the nature of tournaments. You know, I've been asked before why we haven't done so well at tournaments. There's a myriad of myths, in my opinion. The biggest thing is you play against the best teams, and you've got to be tactically better, technically better, and we're heading in a good direction in terms of that improvement.
Thank you. A couple more at the back, and then we'll come to the front, please. Yes.
Question for Gareth, please. As we speak now, Germany is out of the World Cup. Your reaction, please?
Yeah, well, of course I'm surprised. I was here last summer for the Confederations Cup, and they brought a young team. They also won the under-21 finals. But in this tournament, I think they've been ahead for about a minute and a half of their 3 matches. So it's been unusual to see them struggle as much as they have. But the level of all of the teams is strong, and they've played teams that have been tactically very good against them. have exposed counter-attack situations in particular. So, yeah, I didn't look at that group and think automatically that they would go through. They were very close to the wire against Sweden the other night, and I've just watched some of the game there where they've just not been able to break Korea down.
Just 1 second. Yes, thank you.
Jonathan Swain from Good Morning Britain. Gareth, you're based up in the lovely serene Repinot. How are you finding the hotel here, considering it's bang in the city centre, surrounded by lots of busy, noisy bars? Are you guys going to be able to get enough sleep tonight ahead of the crucial match?
Well, we've not been there yet, but I'm assured it's really we're fine. No, I mean that's normally one of the stories that's written about every hotel we stay in. Really, there's always somewhere nearby that could distract us, but we seem to manage okay. So it's always nice when you come to the venue cities because there's more energy around the stadiums and different sort of environment. It prepares you for the game well, and we're really looking forward to all of the stadiums have been brilliant, and we're really looking forward to the atmosphere tomorrow night because it's two teams that are very keen to play well, to win, and the level of the game, even though people will make changes, the level of the game will be high.
Okay, just for translation if you don't mind. Okay, thank you.
Hi, Henry Winter, the Times. Question in English. Given your history with Germany and given the country's footballing history with Germany, it's the first time they haven't got to the last 8 since '54. Psychologically, what impact is this going to have on England? I mean, it's whether you see the tournament opening up or psychologically the fact that Germany aren't in it anymore.
Oh, I don't think it has any bearing on us. I think what it shows is that Italy out and Holland out before we got to this point. Chile, who were again in the Confed Cup final last year, and now Germany. So there really is no opportunity to rest on where you are as a team or stop the constant improvement. We've learned an enormous amount from studying Germany as a team. We learned a lot watching them last summer that we've actually implemented some of that. And their team that won the World Cup, we studied very intently. So indirectly, I would say they've had a big bearing on what we're doing now. But in sport and in life, you've got to keep evolving and improving, and it just shows anybody is vulnerable on any given day.
Thank you very much. Just translation. Okay, go ahead, please. Thank you.
Gabriel Clark, ITV in English. Gareth, I know you're going to make some changes. Can you tell us anything about them, and will Harry Kane play? And what sort of game do you expect with Belgium also going to make a lot of changes, it seems?
Yeah, I think the intensity of the game will be good because the players that come in when you make changes have a high level of motivation. They have a brilliant opportunity first and foremost to play in a World Cup. They want to show what they can do because one of the key things for me is that everybody is ready to come in this, not only tomorrow's game but the games beyond that, and this is a great chance for the guys to get match minutes, match sharpness against good quality opposition. So I think the level of the game will be high, higher than perhaps if there weren't changes, given that both teams are through. In terms of our team, I as you know, I don't want to be obstructive to you guys, but I don't want to give my opposition any help with what our team might be.
Thank you. Gentleman on the right, please just wait for translation. Go ahead. Thank you.
Kaliningrad, a question in Russian. Why didn't you want to play at our stadium during the training session, and wouldn't that affect your game tomorrow because you won't be able to try the pitch?
No, I was asked the same question in where would it be? in Nizhny Novgorod. So we never train at any of the stadiums the day before the game. In fact, when I went to the initial workshop with FIFA, they were keen to protect the pitches. But we always prefer to train in the morning. It gives us a longer recovery time for the match. And we know that all of the pitches in the stadiums are very good, and the stadium is fantastic. So we've followed the same approach right the way through. So please don't take it as a slight on what is a brilliant stadium.
Thank you, gentlemen, in the middle there when the translation's finished. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, Garrett, Dutch Radio. I was wondering if you have any priority becoming first or second in the group, because some say becoming second in the group might even be an advantage. What do you think?
We think that we need to keep winning football matches, and we want to breed a mentality that everybody in our squad wants to constantly win. So we've not won a knockout game since 2006. Why we are starting to plot which would be a better venue for our semi-final is beyond me, really. So I think best that we focus on tomorrow. We have no idea who, when or where we will play in the next round, but we're pleased that we're in the next round. But first and foremost, I think it's really important that we are building a team that I think everybody at home can see are passionate to play for England, want to win every time they go out, are improving all the time, and I think we'll see that again tomorrow. And I'm really looking forward to seeing us play again.
Thank you. We'll come to the front now, please. 2 questions. Just wait for the translation. Okay.
David from The Sun, in English. A question for Eric. Eric, have you been in any way surprised by Harry's goal-scoring form the first 2 games? Does it seem like everything's going right for him at the moment, particularly the manner of maybe that 3rd goal against Panama? And also, when we say that footballers always want to play games, does Harry want to play games more than anyone else wants to play games?
I'm not surprised. No. Obviously, I think everyone knows by now. It's funny how people always still talk about Harry in that way, like you're meant to be surprised by it. But he's been doing it at a consistent level now for a long time, and he continues to improve, continues to want to improve. You know, has a fantastic work ethic and attitude, and he's extremely driven. And I don't think he wants to play more than anyone else wants to play. I think, you know, everyone wants to play every minute of every game. You know, I think, and Harry's no different. But obviously, there's a lot more to it than that. But you know, Harry's it's been a fantastic tournament for him so far, and hopefully, he can continue to play a massive part in the tournament for England, and continue to show the level he's shown, and an even better level, because I believe he has an even better level as well.
Thank you, gentlemen. There, please just wait for translation. Okay, go ahead. Thank you.
Hello, Mr. Saugin. Yves Tijdeman, dernière Belgium. How special is it for you to play a game against Mr. Martinez, who's very known in England and who knows you by heart and you know him by heart? And do you miss him in the Premier League?
Well, I'm not in the Premier League, so I don't miss him. But he's a really good guy. I've got to know him pretty well over a number of years. Him and I did one of my coaching courses with Graham Jones, who's his assistant, so I know Graham very well as well. So I'm pleased that tomorrow we're not sitting on the touchline and one of the teams could be going home. That's I think both of us are pleased about that. But he's doing an excellent job with Belgium. You know, it's a very talented group of players, and is a big moment for them and for you as a country, I know. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they develop after tomorrow as well.
Thank you. We'll swing to this side, please, behind the pillar.
Sorry, right over here. Oliver Holt, Mail on Sunday in English. you've touched on this theme already, but does the Germany result underline the madness of plotting the route and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I just think you can't take anything for granted, and the margins are so fine within the matches. We were watching Argentina last night. We were watching Portugal and Spain on the evening before, and one decision at one end of the pitch, and a decision within 2 minutes the situation in the group changed completely. So that's what's brilliant about tournaments. That's what makes them so exciting, that you just don't know what's going to happen. Even before today, we were saying, well, okay, there's been some great games, but all the top teams have got through, and actually now they haven't. So that is what I think attracts everybody to World Cups and European Championships, and the thrill of it is something that's incredibly exciting to be a part of.
Thank you. I think we're into the final 3 questions there. One at the back, please. Just wait for translation, if you don't mind. Just a second. Okay, thank you.
I'm Rob from Global Brazil. Question for Gareth. Did you or will you have any conversation with your players about the red cards or yellow cards, because it can be decisive tomorrow?
No, if I go and headbutt Roberto in the last 5 minutes, then you'll know that maybe we're taking a different approach to getting through. But I think that I think we're always talking to our players of discipline on the pitch, avoiding conceding unnecessary free kicks. And part of the discipline of being in a tournament is to minimise yellow cards, because you want to have players available for the games in the future. So we want to win the game, and that would mean we top the group, and we would go into whatever game we go into moving forward. And I go back to the fact that we're trying to develop a winning mentality, and I can't imagine a situation where I stand in front of the group of players I've got and start talking to them about anything else. So it wouldn't be authentic to what we've been trying to build for the last 2 years. We had a choice with our friendly matches to play teams that would be easier, but we deliberately chose to play top teams because we knew that would be a better challenge, and we would learn more from those games. And we've got to keep building that belief and building those experiences. So for me, we're delighted to be in the next round. Tomorrow's game is the one we're focused on, and we want to win the group.
Thank you. Rob, do you want a question? Yes, thank you. Wait for the translation, please. Okay, thank you.
Question in English, Rob Harris from Associated Press. Gareth, there's obviously been a lot of attention on just how you're getting things to go so well at the moment, and there's been a focus on how influenced you are by various US sports. Could you just explain how your sort of trips to the US, how you look at US sports, whether it's set plays has actually influenced anything or played a part in what you're doing in the games?
Look, I've got an outstanding team of staff, and in every area, the guys that you deal with every day, our medical team, our analysis team. So managing a team now is a very complex scenario in terms of the dynamics of the team, and allowing everybody to have their input, but also making sure that there's space for the players to breathe. And you've got to manage, we've got 50, 60 people on camp with the players as well. So I think American sports and their head coaches have to deal with a lot of that dynamic, which is always fascinating. But I've learned no more from them than I have some of the British sports, some of our outstanding coaches. And I think you're always looking to learn and improve, whether that's from business, whether it's from sport. When you're in a leadership position and a management position, and the two things are different, there are fantastic examples out there and experiences to take on board. So I always want to do that, but the reason we're doing well is because we have an outstanding support team and an outstanding group of players in terms of their hunger and desire to improve, and their willingness to try anything, to try different things, to embrace new ideas, and just to think about what's possible. I think it's a really energetic environment to be a part of.
Thank you. And the final question, please, gentlemen there. Go ahead, thank you.
Алексей Кудинов, телеканал «Россия». Вопрос на русском.
Kudinov
К игроку и
from
к тренеру.
TV
В
Russia.
обеих
A
сборных
question
очень
for
много
both
одноклубников.
gentlemen.
Это хорошо или плохо?
In
Может,
both
вы, Гарри,
teams, there are
расспрашивали
lots of
Эрика о сильных и
players
слабых
coming from the same
сторонах того
clubs.
же
Have you
Тоби или
asked
Вертонгена? Как это повлияет на
the
игру завтрашнюю?
weak and strong points of Toby, for example, or other players? Have you had any idea of what their weak or strong sides might be, and did you have any discussion regarding that?
Yeah, obviously we myself and others we play with a lot of the Belgian team back home. Obviously we as teammates we know each other a little better than other opposition, but we've obviously we don't know what team Belgium are going to play, what team ourselves are going to play, but we know, well, myself I know the strong points and maybe a few weaknesses of the players that I play with at my club, and the others the same, and you know, maybe we can use them to our advantage individually and as a team if that opportunity arises, but it's not something we focus too much on.
Yeah, well, I think also the players play against each other a lot, so you know, whether it's players from their own club or players that have played against each other, there's a very clear understanding for both teams, I think, of the strengths and weaknesses of certain individuals. Yeah, it's been a difficult game to prepare for, in that none of us are really sure what team Belgium are likely to play. With a fair idea, you know, they've played the same system for probably 20 matches or so, but I think they might change that tomorrow a little bit. But we're prepared for different eventualities on that. But the specifics of the team change dramatically if certain individuals in their system don't play. So we've had to focus, as we always do, on us, making sure all of our guys know their roles, making sure that everybody's prepared for the game, and we know tactically how to deal with whichever system Belgium choose to play against us.
Okay, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. The next press conference in here will be 7 o'clock, and sorry we couldn't quite get to every hand, but thank you very much for your help.